Hello, guys. So, unfortunately, we need to talk about the theory because it's impossible to explain the cluster without theory, especially if you have no practice of cluster. So, I take some note and I hope it's correct in English and so don't complain if this is not correct. Don't complain if the pronunciation is not fantastic. First, because I'm Italian, and second, and then I'm speaking as Italian people. And for me, write in English and speak in English, it's not very easy because it was more easy when I was in UK, but now my English getting get bad too because I'm staying in Italy all the time. So anyway, cluster. Design a cluster solution. The first things to decide when you are considering a cluster solution for your network is just what you expect to realize from your cluster. So in another words, just how much availability or scalability you need. For some organization, high availability means that any downtime at all is unacceptable, and clustering can provide a solution that protects three different types of failure. So if you have a company, actually in the company in Rome they have the Oracle database, and we have a few cluster, and I will show you my network map of this organization. Where is so this is the network. Okay, and this is all server. So these server are in cluster. Wait, guys, because I need to. Okay, these two server are in cluster. This one, these two server, it's cluster of Oracle database. So actually was, because this is all the project. They have lots branch office around the world, and all branch office are connected to the VPN to the main office in Rome, and they can use Oracle database for business application. The problem is, as I'm explaining here, the server in cluster should be the same server. I mean, the powerful of the server should be the same. So software failures, many type of software failures can prevent a critical application from running properly. The application itself could malfunction. Other pieces of software can give a problem with the application. For example, in this two server Windows 2003, in this company, then I showed you the network design just a few seconds ago. The IT manager said to everybody, don't upgrade the server, because maybe if you upgrade or if you install some patch of software from Microsoft, the server can be down for a long time, and then was impossible. Well, what can I say? It's very bad, because if I did some test of the server, of operation system from outside the part, and the server was the security was very bad, was unbelievable. Anyway, hardware failure, hard drive, cooling fan, power supply, and other hardware. All hardware have a limited life. Usually, when sometimes actually happen very often So the users, the morning, switch on the computer doesn't work anymore, and they usually, or everybody tell you, but yesterday was fine, so doesn't matter. It's hardware, it can be broken, can be, so cluster enables critical application to continue to running. So site failures, the degree of availability you required depends on a variety of factors. I hope in English is correct, guys. Including the nature of the application you are running, the sites, location, and distribution of your user role. And the rule of the application in your organization required for its application can affect its clustering configuration in several ways, including the type of clustering you use, the number of servers in the cluster, the distribution of application across the server, and the location of the server. Depends. So, for example, Windows 2003, I don't remember how many cluster you can with Windows 2003 Enterprise Edition. You can have 32 server in network load balancing, and I think 8 server in cluster. So it depends what kind of operation system are you using. Windows 2003 Enterprise Edition, Data Center, or advanced server, web server, depends. Example, the 99% of availability means that can be unavailable for up to 0.6 hours during the year. An application that is 99.9% availability can be down no more than 8.76 hours for year. So that is the main design cluster solution. Scaling cluster, both server cluster and network load balancing are scalable clustering solution, meaning that you can improve the performance on the cluster as the need of the organization grow. There are two basic methods to increasing clustering performance, which are follows. Scaling up, improving individual server performance by moving the computer's hardware configuration. So you can add RAM or level 2 cache memory, upgrading more fast processor, and installing additional processor, or are all ways to scale up computer. This is not professional video course, I know. So, as I hear, for example, if you have the active node, very powerful, and the passive node it's not powerful, same to the active node, the performance the passive node cannot meet when they are called to replace the active node. So it should be almost the same, or well, very similar. Scaling out, adding an existing cluster when you distribute the processing load for an application among multiple servers. Adding more servers reduce the burden on each individual computer. Both server in cluster and in an NLB cluster, network load balancing cluster, can be scaled out, but it is easier to add server to an NLB cluster. was more easy in Italian, anyway. The network, I will teach Italian. In the network load balancing, each server has its own independent data store um, con containing the application and data they supply to the client. So scaling the server out, it's more complicated because the server in cluster must have access to the common data store, and then I think should be better if you use SAN storage. It's more fast. Another things, if you think about Google, for example, can you imagine Google go down? Nobody can go on Google. So if you try to, let's look up. If you try to check google.com, you see here how many IP it can be reached. So this is the DNS, and you can, if you have a server, for example, in this configuration, so you have your company. Where is it? No, new. If you have your company and you have here one server, two server, three server, and this is all in cluster, right? So here you are in Rome, for example, Rome, and the website of your company is mycompany.com. So I have a question for you. What's happened if for any reason, maybe there is man at work on the street, they cut all network cable, so your company, well, this is just web server, but maybe it's e-commerce or, well, database, Google as well. If they cut the line, what's going on? So you cannot give anymore the service to your customer or the users. So usually you have another server in network load balancing in another countries, for example, or another city, or so it's up to you. Like don't know, UK, and with DNS. So this is the IP of my website. So www.mycompany.com. This is the IP. Where is it? 172.32.1.45, and this is the another IP 172.1.48. So from your maintainer, from your internet provider server, or from your company as well, depends on the configuration. So with DNS, you say to DNS that this website can be reached from this server DNS. We put here our DNS from this one. So you in DNS you can give the priority. So maybe this is more important than this one, but if it's not if this go down, they will be contacted here. And with BGP, because there is another problem. So if you go here, if you do ping Google, this is my Actually, it's not mine. It's a public IP of Google. So it should be always the same. So I mean, this one with BGP you can configure more than one network in the same AES. So like this IP is down or not, or network know how can be reach each IP of your network. So I need to check how many minutes. Okay, is enough. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope it's clear in English. Thank you.